You see the little shit going. That's a video. What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Caleb Sweet Hands Plant. Caleb Plant addresses the Canelo Alvarez negotiations, and this is what he had to say. He stated, Canelo was offered the highest guarantee of his career. He was set to make 40 million plus Mexican TV rights and his Hennessy sponsorship. No problem, let's fight. We gave it to him. Then they wanted upside of gate and pay-per-view revenue. No problem, let's rumble. It was always agreed that it was a title unification. No rematch for either fighter. Towards the end of negotiations, they asked for a rematch. When they lose, no problem. You can have the rematch as well. I just want to fight. I question whether legacy or money is their real motive. We've been waiting for him to get done with his wedding, shooting his TV show, his golf tournament, and now have tried to give him everything he wants and more to make this fight. Caleb Plant told ESPN's Mike Coppinger. Okay. I do believe there's always another side of the story, and what Caleb Plant, his side, shows that he's been very lenient on, with his people, with PBC, and hey, they gave this guy whatever he wanted, and they have showed their attempts to make this fight with Canelo Alvarez. Okay, but what's not being said? All right. What's not being said is, yes, you told us everything that you were willing to give Canelo. What was it that you weren't? Counterpunch. See, it's not, a lot of times it's not what they say, it's what they don't say. It's what's not being said. Again, you backtrack. They wanted the upside of the gate and pay-per-view revenue. No problem. Let's rumble. That makes sense because Canelo's the draw anyway. It's always agreed a little unification with no rematch for either fighter towards the end of negotiations. Then they ask for a rematch when they lose. No problem. You can have that as well. I just want to fight. I question whether the legacy is the real motive. We've been waiting for him to get done with his wedding, shooting his television show, and his golf tournament. So the question is, you gave him all that. What wouldn't you willing to give? Okay. And it still didn't answer why this fight fell through. Why Mike Coppinger came forth and said, hey, this fight looks dead in the water. Okay. That's what's not being said. That's what I wonder about this particular situation, because it's almost to me, it almost sounds like to me that when you read it, first off, without thinking about it, you could say, hey, you know what, Caleb, they did, PBC work. They went from 3 fights to 1 fight. Then all of this, you might say, chop it up and say, hey, they've tried enough. But this is what they didn't talk about. They didn't talk about what caused the fight or the negotiations to fall apart. That's the question you ask yourself, and that's what wasn't discussed in this. This looks like a PR breakdown or cleanup or damage control by Fox PBC. And speaking of Fox PBC, this is a thing that they wanted full control over. But the question is why? Why couldn't Caleb Plant say, you know what, okay, you guys can't do the deal. Let's see what they offer. Because it seems like to me, it's all what we want, PBC, Fox wants. But at the end of the day, you guys, you didn't mention what they wanted, on top of Caleb Plant not really addressing the idea of going to DAZN and what DAZN has to offer on their platform. See, it seems like to me, it's like he can't do any of that, and that's not an option because he didn't say that as an option. He's speaking as though that will never be an option. because I'm with these guys. I'm with Al Heyman. I'm with Fox PBC. I'm not getting off this island no matter what. Okay, yeah, it does seem good. Yeah, he was set to make 40 million plus Mexican TV rights and his Hennessy sponsorships. I get that. But at the end of the day, it's like, what wasn't you willing to do? And why weren't you willing to think outside the box, something Floyd would have done, and say, you know what, let me see what DAZN is talking about, because obviously you guys can't make this fight happen for me, so I'm gonna go elsewhere. Perfect example. Floyd Mayweather himself. Floyd with Bob Arum, okay, wanted $20 million. Bob wouldn't give it to him. He paid $750,000 to get out of his contract, okay? And he left, went with Al Heyman, and together they got the fight, and they got the amount of money that he wanted to fight the same guy that his promoter at the time, Bob Arum, wouldn't do for him. So knowing that, and going back on history, and people want to emulate Floyd so much, why can't you emulate the things that he did to make him successful? Counterpunch. Okay, Caleb Plant could do the same thing and say, okay, Al, this ain't working, but I mean, I'm still a champion. That man still wants this belt, and I should use this as an opportunity for me to take the best steps for me, not for the fucking network, not for whatever, but for me to get this fight. See, it seems like they won't allow Caleb Plant, or Caleb Plant's not allowed to do what Caleb Plant needs to do to get the fight. Because I guarantee you, if he went to DAZN and asked DAZN without PBC, they would have offered him something probably more than he has. And let's look at it. Who doesn't benefit from this? Canelo Alvarez already has another opponent in mind, Dimitri Bivol. We already know that. Okay, he's already a millionaire. He's already making $30 million. You think he's worried about 10 more? That's the same with that Anthony Joshua shit. We offered you 50 million. Who gives a fuck if you're making 85 or 35 million pounds? Who really cares about that? You're already rich. You got enough money. That's not your motive. But it should be a motive for Caleb Plant, because this is Caleb Plant's time to shine. This is his time to rumble. This is his time to make legacy. This is his time to honor his mother, honor his daughter. God bless their soul. It's his time to show everything that he worked hard for, that you hear about Caleb Plant, to come true, to manifest. Yes, I follow Caleb Plant, and I know his story, and I absolutely love it. I respect it. But this, I think there's always another way, just like there's always another side of the story. What about the other side of the story? The one that we don't talk about. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Caleb Plant addressing his side of the story against the negotiations with Canelo Alvarez. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.